E.
Ding, ding, ding.
Grandmother School by Rina Singh and Ellen Rooney. Hurry up, Aji, I tell my grandmother. I know she doesn't like being late. She rushes through her chores so she can change into her uniform, a bright pink sari. She checks her bag for her abacus, reader, slate, and chalk. She looks into the little mirror on the wall and freshens up the red dot on her forehead. Then I take her hand in mine and walk her to school. Her school is a one-room bamboo hut at the end of the mango grove. It has a thatched roof, and the mud floor is covered with mats for the grandmothers to sit on. The door is decorated with marigold garlands, and inside there is a big chalkboard. The grandmothers sit in rows, ready to practice the alphabet on their slates and show their work to the teacher. Aji started school a year ago. My teacher said almost everyone in the village could read, write, and count, except for all of the grandmothers. So he built Aji Bachi Shala, Grandmother School. Ajoba, my grandfather, shook his head and said that learning at this age was a waste of time. But most of the people in the village were happy for the grandmothers. When Aji first learned to spell her name, she did a little dance. Then she went to the bank. The rude man behind the counter had always dismissed her, saying people who give thumbprints instead of signatures have to wait. He made her feel small. Now I'll show him I can sign my name, she said. In the evenings, we huddle together, share stories, and do our homework. When Aiji needs help, she whispers in my ear. She doesn't want anyone to know she's having trouble. In 1 year at Ajibachi Shala, she has learned the alphabet. She can read and spell many words. She is so proud that she can even add and subtract. One day, one of the grandmothers fell ill, and the others weren't able to pay attention to the lessons. So the teacher let the grandmothers worry and pray together. That night, Aiji hugged me a little tighter and said, "When I die and my Creator asks me what I did with my life on earth, I'll say I learned to sign my name." "But Aiji," I reminded her, "you can also read words like cloud, sky, rain, tree, mango, water, bird, hill, river." "Yes, and I'll take all those words with me to the next world." On days when Aiji falls asleep before me, I can hear her chanting rhymes in her sleep, the ones the teacher has asked her to memorize. I am so proud of her. Most days after the evening meal, she tells me stories before I sleep. My favorites are about the warrior king who was brave, kind, and clever. The king, Shivaji, was courageous and won many daring battles, but he never hurt those he didn't need to. I especially love the story where King Shivaji escaped from a prison by hiding in a large fruit basket, outwitting Aurangzeb, the cruelest emperor that ever ruled India. No matter what story she is sharing, Aiji always ends with the same line. "One day I will read you this story from a book." But not tonight. Tonight I have already drifted into sleep. dreaming of warriors and birds, numbers and words. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed that reading of Grandmother's School by Rina Singh and Ellen Rooney. This book is based on a true story about a city just a little outside of Mumbai in India, where a teacher noticed that there were these grandmothers that didn't know how to read and write. And just because of the conditions that they were living in when they were growing up, they didn't have the opportunity to go to school. And so they actually did build a one-roomed school for, I think, about 30 grandmothers. And all the grandmothers were at least 60, and I think one was about 90 years of age. And for a couple of years, they learned how to read and write. And by the end of it, they all learned how to read and write. And that's an amazing story. It's an amazing true story, and inspirational stories like this are really, really good. Again, I apologize, just like the Proudest Blue video, if I mispronounce some of these words. I do try my best, but I'm sure I got them wrong. I don't mean to offend. I love learning about new cultures and learning new words. So I will continue to try to do that. I hope I don't offend anyone. But that's my reading of Grandmother's School. I really liked it. This was another entry in the Blue Spruce Awards for 2021 as a nominee. And so I'm glad that I think we're more than halfway through all of our Blue Spruce Award for 2021 nominees. They've all been really good stories. And this one is no exception. Grandmother's School. I hope you enjoyed this reading. And if there are other books you'd like to suggest for me to read, I have a monthly roundup video coming up. You can leave some comments there for books you can suggest for me to read. I would love to hear from you. But until next episode, I've been Elvin. This has been e-reading. Thank you very much for watching. Be gentle and kind with one another. Bye now.